Hello and welcome to Shootin' the Breeze. I'm WECT First Alert Chief Meteorologist Scannon Medwick, and as this is the first episode of this new year, I trust it's not too late to extend you a Happy New Year. And I hope you're ready for this episode's trivia question. It's about wind chill, i.e. how cold it feels to you when you consider the air temperature and how brisk the wind is blowing. So which temperature and wind combo produces the coldest feels like temperature? Is it A, 40 degrees with a 45-mile-an-hour wind? B, 35 degrees with a 30-mile-an-hour wind? C, 30 degrees with a 20-mile-an-hour wind? Or D, 25 degrees with a 5-mile-an-hour wind? The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has a chart you could look this up on, or simply settle in and I'll have the answer in a few minutes when we wrap up Shootin' the Breeze. Your First Alert forecast on TV, online, or your WECT weather app taps surface observations, upper air observations, radar and satellite images, and computer models to alert you to approaching storms. But when the storm is big enough, there's a chance your body will tell you about it too. Dr. Nick Neer Bell, a Novant Health family medicine resident from here in Wilmington, joined me to shoot the breeze about the relationship between pain and weather, especially changing weather. And in his practice, he sees it all the time.
Really, anything that is either an acute or chronic pain can be exacerbated. So that's anything from regular age-related arthritis to fibromyalgia to patients that are experiencing chronic pain syndromes. And so all of those can be affected.
In my experience, an approaching storm is what's usually scapegoated for flare-ups in pain like a headache or a nagging old injury. The barometer dips, inflammation spikes. But Dr. Neer Bell confirms the exchanges in humidity and temperature that often accompany the passage of these pressure systems also have a big role to play.
When it gets cold, your body actually pulls blood, back towards its core. So it doesn't go to your elbows and your knees and your hips as well as it would have normally. So keeping, light activity so you're staying warm, using compression, staying active, all of those things can help keep those joints lubricated and mitigate the risk of pain being exacerbated.
Dr. Neer Bell recommends logging your pain as it relates to weather, so you might get in the right mindset and perhaps even start therapies ahead of a forecasted weather change. And he says, be as comprehensive in your thinking as possible.
Pain is a sensation that we all feel, and everyone feels it differently. People have different sensitivities to it. And we know other than the weather, there are other factors that contribute to your experience of pain. How aware are you of it? If you're busy working all day, you probably don't notice it as much if you're just sitting on the couch. Your mood plays a big role in it, and weather can affect mood as well, as we know. And then, of course, adequate amounts of sleep, good nutrition, all of those things impact chronic pain. If someone was trying to manage it the best way that they could, trying to hit all of those aspects would be beneficial.
Check the latest temperature, humidity, wind, and pressure conditions and chart their expected changes anytime with your WECT weather app. In cold spells, you might hear your First Alert weather team reference some or all of the 4 P's: people, pets, plants, and pipes. And each comes with different considerations. For people and most warm-blooded pets like dogs, exposure to any temperatures significantly chillier than body temperature can theoretically cause harm over time. Of course, these risks tend to increase dramatically when air temperatures drop through the 30s, 20s, and lower. Mammals are also highly subject to heat loss through conduction, which increases with wetness, and advection, in which cold air is introduced by wind. That's why wind chill is a big factor for these two P's. Insulation with warm clothing layers for people and extra bedding for pets comes into play in these discussions, as well as the old rule of thumb. If it's cold for you, it's cold for your pets too. Under the right conditions, cold weather considerations for the third P, plants, start on the margins of winter. Warm weather plants trying to chug into fall, or sensitive young blooms just coming on the scene in spring, are especially sensitive to frost. Clear skies, light winds, sufficient dew points, and air temperatures as high as 38 can amount to a frost risk. And of course, below freezing temperatures only compound that risk. Plants native to the Cape Fear region are adept at handling cold snaps. Other varieties may require some extra TLC, like covering and sheltering. Unlike people and pets, plants don't really live and die by the wind chill, and neither does the fourth P, pipes. The question here is more simply, does enough water in the line freeze so as to stress and burst the pipe? And for most plumbing systems, this takes really cold weather, with air temperatures deep down to the 20s and teens and lower to happen. Winterization of systems is recommended throughout winter, and beware of the occasional hard freeze in early spring as well. Now, rarely is the temperature one size fits all in the Cape Fear region, and differences can show up on nights with clear skies, dry air, and light winds the most. On these nights, net energy loss through radiation is the greatest driver of surface air temperature. Warm bodies like the ocean and urban centers offer some heat maintenance through the night. But in rural areas like farm fields or remote areas like peat bogs and sandy pocosins, heat escapes to space and there is absolutely nothing to replace it. It's good practice to know the temperature tendencies of your exact location in situations like these as you consider the cold weather preps for the 4 Ps that matter to you most. And when winter hands off to summer, the transition is never completely straight and smooth. So trust your First Alert weather team to forecast cold weather from a 4 Ps perspective whenever necessary. Now's the time to blow you away with this episode's trivia answer. Did you pick the temperature and wind combination that produces the lowest wind chill or feels like the coldest? Well, according to the official NOAA conversion chart on the matter, 40 degrees with a 45-mile-an-hour wind feels like a brisk 26. 35 degrees with a 30-mile-an-hour wind has quite a bite to it, as it feels like 22. And 25 degrees with just a 5-mile-an-hour wind is no slouch either in producing a wind chill of 19. But if you said choice C, 30 degrees with a 20-mile-an-hour wind feels the coldest, you're right. Those two elements combine for a teeth-chattering wind chill of 17. That's it for this 6th episode of Shootin' the Breeze. Be looking for more throughout 2023, and be sure to connect with me on these platforms. If you have a question about a topic you saw here on Shootin' the Breeze, if you have a suggestion for a Cape Fear or Carolina weather item you'd like to see covered in the future, or if you just want to say hello and what's the good word. Hope I'll see you for the next episode of Shootin' the Breeze, and take care.